Good morning, South Africa and Africa on the African continent, and you're watching Morning Express right here on Galaxy Universal Network in our headquarters in Midrand, Johannesburg. And let us take a look at your trending stories this hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa launched Mooikloof Mega Residential City. Minister Pegicele calls for heads must roll as cops killing mounts. The Democratic Alliance writes to the IMF over SAA bailout. And taking a look at Kenya's President Uhuru
making what may be referred to.
But allows you to take a look at today's headlines rather. But as we continue with everything that is happening, President Cyril Ramaphosa launched the Mooikloof residential area on Sunday morning, which turns out to become one of the most developmenting areas in South Africa. So the Mooikloof was launched on Sunday, where he spoke about how this beautiful country and residential area will accommodate all those half-earning and middle-class people living in South Africa. Let us take a look at our video.
Addresses what may be referred to as the housing missing middle. People who earn too much to qualify for fully subsidized housing, but people who don't earn enough to afford debt-financed housing in areas of their choice. But by far the most important aspect of this catalytic project is really its contribution to inclusionary housing development. In the inaugural State of the Nation address on the 6th administration, I outlined the 7 priority areas that will guide and underpin the work of government. Amongst the priority areas that I identified was spatial integration, human settlement, and local government. Now, spatial integration is aimed at undoing a prominent feature of our horrible past. And this project begins the process of addressing that. While a minority of our people lived in comfort and security, with access to centers of commercial activity and the best of facilities, the black majority were confined to townships, almost to the backyard of South Africa, that only served as labor reservoirs or reserves. In the rural parts of our country, this was even worse, with the underdeveloped Bantustans, as they were called then, existing alongside more affluent so-called white South Africa. Now, we continue to feel the effects of apartheid special development and design in what we may term the 40-40.
It's a Monday morning, and I'm sure that I did not introduce who this young man is that is bringing you all the latest news and headlines. The name is MBELE. But as we take a look and continuing on the Ramaphosa Mooikloof subsidy issue, according to the government, the Mooikloof development will complement Help Me Buy a House, or financial-linked individual subsidy program initiated by the Department of Human Settlement.
Friend, because I'd like to call you a good friend of mine, you're a legend. You have not only employed a fantastic team of people, fantastic ladies. I'm very passionate about ladies in construction. Your team are transparent, very decent, very pleasant to deal with. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, and thank you for your support. Mr. President, I started this business 25 years ago, very similar to the birth of this country, out of the depths of apartheid. I was very blessed. My wife, Michelle Brooks, managed to have dinner with Nelson Mandela, which is a tremendous honor for our family. I have had the honor of meeting our president, of having tea with him, and I'd like to take the liberty of calling him a friend, which is a hell of an honor. It's the highest honor of my career. Mr. President, I'm a humble man. I'm a builder. I haven't got a fancy degree. I'm a worker. I believe in...
And here is what Minister Patricia de Lille also had to say. Honor teachers of.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We are now going to get the man to come and tell us more about his dreams. But, Mr. President, in pioneering this new methodology, we've learned a lot of lessons with the first one. One of the key lessons that we have learned is that in getting project preparation done up front, that helps you to de-risk the project. But also in terms of this partnership between the public sector and the private sector, we're able also to spread the risk. And it's not just with the private sector, but it's with government and everyone. So as we go along with Dr. KHUTSI, we will certainly refine it, Mr. President. As we all know, that the 100 billion rand that government has put in the infrastructure fund, that fund is also now operational, and I'm sure things will go much quicker. I now call on Mr. Brooks to address us. Thank you.
And taking a look at your next story. Gauteng MEC Education Panyaza Lisufi honored teachers for their continuous contribution towards nurturing the future generation of our learners despite the risk of exposure to COVID-19. He further honored and remembered those who have unfortunately lost their lives in the fight against the novel coronavirus.
Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to firstly congratulate all our educators for saving the academic year. You are quite aware that we had a serious challenge of COVID, but teachers stood to the ground and ensured that the academic year is saved. Secondly, we want to congratulate and thank all the educators that were at the forefront of ensuring that they provide support to our learners and ensure that there's social distancing, they could be in a position to sanitize, but most importantly, they could be in a position to provide them with proper education. On this day, the 5th of October, it's known as International Day to honor all our educators. So I want to take this opportunity to honor them, thank them, and also reaffirm the most important statement, that there's no profession that can give birth to other professions without teachers. So teachers remain the people that gave us the necessary support, but most importantly, teachers remain the people that gave birth to all professions, and for that we salute them. I also want to thank them for doing whatever that they have to do in their own style, in their own method, but most importantly in their own character. When you see little ones singing, dancing, when you see bigger ones writing and celebrating, all this can only be achieved because there was a teacher. So to all our teachers, I wish you well, congratulations, and enjoy the International Day on the 5th of October. That day belongs to you. If you have to go home, I gave you permission to go home the entire day. Thank you.
And taking a look at your next story. Minister of Police Bheki Cele said that more must be done to end the scourge of crime against committed police officers. Anti-gang unit officer Lieutenant Colonel Carl Kenya, who was described as a lover of his family and community, was killed 2 weeks ago. Kenya was shot dead in front of his Bishop Lavis house in Cape Town 2 weeks ago. Speaking at the funeral, here is what the minister had to say condemning the senseless killings of South African police service members.
You see these criminals, I don't think as they come, they want anybody's political card. I don't think what organization they are, show us a card, and they rape you then and shoot you then. I don't think so. They've declared the war against humanity and against human beings. Well, I heard you again in Fundis saying there should be no revenge, there should be justice. I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you on that. But also, I love to read my Bible. Other friends are going to pardon me. I read my Bible on the Old Testament. I don't read the Bible of a cheek for cheek. No, I don't. I read the Bible for my tooth for the tooth. It's biblical, it's in the Bible, don't blame me. an eye for an eye. Because what luxury do you have to take my eye and to stay with?
And the minister also had this to say.
No police here is going to rest until we know what happened to children. No criminal is going to kill our police and go sleep in your house. Look, there is a war here. War has got dead bodies. This is evidence. So don't call on us that we're calling on war. We have found the war on the way. And when you find the war, you don't ask who started the war, you fight. Later, you come back to say, by the way, who started it? They will shoot you when you are busy asking who started the war. For the fact that the Pope Secretary here spoke about 2 police that were killed here within 24 hours in this province, within 24 hours, Kailisha and him. But Pope and the police and the management and all of us, there is an extra pain that we feel here in this province on this death. It's an extra pain. You see, I bury police. I really bury police. And I bury them with clean heart to say they were fighting against criminality on behalf of the nation. But this noise, General Matagata, General Mweni, and all generals, that I keep hearing here, that there might be some issues among and between ourselves. We'll have to follow that. It can't be normal that we begin to be hesitant and don't know what to say and what to do when the member of the South African Police Service dies. It must be clear that it's them and us. If you come here and you begin to be in between, choose.
And taking a look at your sporting headlines this hour, Mamelodi Sundowns have announced the appointment of Manqoba Mngqithi and Rulani Mkwena as joint head coaches, with the opinion of Manqoba Mngqithi prevailing when there isn't a mutual agreement. The president of Mamelodi Sundowns, Dr. Patrice Mtsipe, said that Manqoba and Rulani have been with Mamelodi Sundowns for many years and have been part of the technical team that were crowned champions of Africa in 2016 and also have won the Premier Soccer League and other titles in South Africa. Furthermore, Mtsipe said that the board of Mamelodi Sundowns was particularly keen to appoint South African coaches and expresses its commitment and confidence in the talent and ability of our local coaches. Manqoba and Rulani are the technical team at Mamelodi Sundowns, will focus on defending the PSL and other titles that have been won during the historic 50-year anniversary. Mamelodi Sundowns will in due course make another important announcement, but we don't know when, but that announcement will be coming shortly. And let's take a look at this.
I gate crash things.
Well, you gate crashed the party. So just tell us about this Mamelodi Sundowns team and what's made them once again at the pinnacle of South African football.
Not much has changed. I think the spirit is very, very good. The brotherhood, the work ethic, and compliments to the president, the board, and the coach, and the rest of the technical team for driving this side. And I must reserve special credit for the captain. Sompo is a rare breed, and I don't think they make them like Sompo Kekana anymore. He fights, he runs, and he's aging gracefully. And it's great that towards the
As we continue with our sporting news, former Sundowns coach Pitso Msimane kicked off his Al Ahly career with a comfortable victory in the Egyptian Premier League with a 1-0 over Al Mukwalun, with the title already wrapped up before his arrival. Pitso Msimane's next challenge are the league ties against the ENPPI and Moneybags Pyramid FC before the Double League CAF Championships League semi-finals against Wydad.
An awkward game, different game, because of the tactics from the opponent.
Okay, continue.
A very dangerous team that we played against, very dangerous on counter-attack. We analyzed them and we saw that even last time when they played Ali, they played more on counter-attack and they've got quick players to go out. And that is their strength. We played well. We played well. Not very good, but well. We controlled the game all the time. In the first half, we did not create many opportunities, but we were in control of the game. And in the second half, we had a chance to score, but we did not finish the big chance. Yeah, so that was it. But we know that I know that there's a lot of work that I have to do, especially on my defense and also on my two wingers, Al-Shawat and Karaba. But I'm happy with Karaba because he hasn't played for long, and I could see that he lose the energy.
And we just brought you the first edition of our news bulletin right on Morning Express. Allow us to take this quick commercial break. We'll be back with our special feature every day right here on Teachers Day on the 5th of October. Let's go to this quick ad break.
Make massive moves.
So from the theatre stage to the kitchen.
I'm anxiously awaiting to see Sanaya.
What else is this if not love?
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
The space race has already started. Russia had got the first object into space.
The coast is as wild today as it was when Europeans settled the continent.
Enormous beasts with enormous thirst. The teams are primed and ready.
They got the first animal into space, and they've got the first person.
Time to see what the boys can do.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
Isn't that your daughter's bib? But the truth is, I feel like Arabella's always with me.
Don't you ever forget this man's face. He killed your brother.
Don't shoot! Please don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Make massive moves with Starsat.
And welcome back from the ad break. You're still watching Morning Express, and we gave you the first edition of our news headlines, all things to do what's happening within our country at this hour. But as always, we take a look at our special feature for the day, and I'm joined in studio by KHUTSI, who's from the cleanup squad. We're talking all things to substance abuse, to how they are making strides within their different communities to make sure that the government, the communities around them actually understand why they are doing this and the reason behind it. So thank you very much for joining me.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Great.
I'm amazing. So I think let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Take me through the cleanup squad, the initiative. When was it started? The reason behind it? So take me through that.
The cleanup squad was actually started in the inception stages about 4 years ago. The intention was to take people to rehab so that they could get rehabilitated, but it actually graviated over the years whereby it was not only just about taking people to rehab, but also reintegrating them into the community, because we've realized that rehabilitation doesn't take about 7 weeks, because you take someone to a detox program, and then after taking them, then they come back to the same circumstances. So we then decided to start the long walk from Joburg to Soshanguve, whereby we recruit substance abusers who want to go to rehab, and then afterwards we help them to be reintegrated into their communities, and then we help them with skills development, like creating tombstones, opening up your own business, or also becoming a media practitioner. So we're just looking for 40 volunteer drug users who want to go to rehab.
But I guess a person at home would be sitting and saying that a young man like yourself, so interested and invested in young people or people that are addicts, why that love, why that burning desire within the community, and saying that let us advocate for them, let us actually give them the skills, the resources to make sure that if they want to stay clean, this is how we get to help them. Where did that love, that burning passion fuel from?
It's the psychologics behind it. Most of them, most drug users have went to high school with them. Some of them primary school. It's people that I've known, and then they've been smoking drugs for like 15 to 16 years. And you ask someone, what is your trigger? And you'd find someone actually can even get clean without going to rehab, because the person will tell you that, you know, my mother finally told me that she loves me. Or the baby mama, I've sorted out things with them. So you'd find that it's the triggers. People don't want to accept the social challenges that face young black men. And you'd find that where I was sitting in our township in Soshanguve, I'd realized that the majority of young guys, you know, we are all just perishing because of drug abuse. So you'd find that more and more, even in the corporate space or in the personal lives, we are losing young men.
I mean, we are losing them, but it's even our socio-economic issues that we are faced with as a country, and you are going to be handing over a memorandum when you get to the Tshwane municipality and saying that these are the things that would like to happen. But even with socio-economic issues that we are facing, as you are mentioning, but what do you think the Tshwane municipality would do for you guys within your march?
We want the halfway house. We want the halfway house. We want a skill center. That halfway house actually is going to be a skill center whereby we already have some of the things, like most of the things, like in terms of machinery to cut your granite, to do tombstones. We already have facilities to help them start up their own businesses. But you know, at the same time, these people, we believe that users need a place where they can stay, and also not even users alone. There are people who are going through social challenges, people that, you know, they might need to do sports, or people whereby they might actually get learning and stuff. There's no halfway house in Pretoria. There's no such thing. I mean, there's only one that's out on the outskirts of the city. So we feel like we really do need a place like that, whereby, you know, even victims, you know, of gender-based violence and everything else, it could be a place of safety. So currently we don't have such an institution that's, you know, that's actually offering services for free.
But you know, and I guess I'm deeming a lot from this conversation, and it's hitting home for me because you mentioned friends, you mentioned family members that go through and they become addicts through such things as wanting your parent to deem you and say that I love you, to be there, to be present, and to be active. But is that not as blaming other people for the reasons why we act and the reasons why we start using?
I think I think just going deep into that conversation, most of us, especially, like I also learned about it, we lacking emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Especially most young men, because most young men don't know how to battle or jab certain issues that we confront or come across, you know. So I think maybe, you know, life coaching, emotional coaching as well.
Yeah.
I've also seen myself in relationships. I'm not good when it comes to emotions.
Yeah.
And we bottle things up.
Yes, we do.
We bottle things up. So I think the most important take home for me this year has always been around emotional intelligence, because you'd find that people don't know how to, you know, handle certain emotions or certain instances. So emotional intelligence is very important. So hence, even when before we take people to rehab, we do make sure that they meet social workers so that we can get to the crux and the triggers, and then we solve them first before you take someone to rehab. Because I've seen someone being, you know, being dragged by the mother, hurry, and then the person actually relapses.
They really don't want to. Because I think something in that conversation already has not taken place to what allows them to not continue using. As you've said, others are waiting for a moment to happen. They're waiting for a specific situation to happen so that they deem themselves out of that addict situation. But here's the greatest one, is that we find young men always saying that we aren't taken care of, we are not being told this. There are so many things that we are deemed to already know. A boy child is fine, it's okay, let us move. But what do you think within our current affairs, our politics, we have corruption, we have people eating money away. Do you think in some state that money could be used for such initiatives where we're always talking about gender-based violence? Let us put a stop to this scourge. But even as our presidents aren't really holding people accountable, then how would you then take that memorandum and say that make this happen, because the money is there, the funds are there?
I think we need grooming. We need those funds, especially programs whereby people can actually get a lot of life coaching. And I think especially it's not even about just young men alone. I think a lot has to be done with the mindset of men in South Africa, more specifically, because you know, you'd find that programs that have been ran of anything of that, whereby, you know, there's advocacy.
Yes.
The most important part is advocacy for young men, because there's always a lot of stigmas around it and everything else. And you'd find even people actually conceding or taking part in such activities because they've already given up to say, you know, it's part of the norm. It's usual to beat up a girl in the township. It's usual. So why should I be something else of that sort? So I think we need to get a lot of funding whereby we get programs that can actually bring, you know, role models. I think we need role models for young men. People who can actually show us that you don't need to be a criminal to actually succeed in life. You know? And I think it's a voluntary process. Similarly with what we're running with this program, we don't want people who come with their parents to be taken to rehab.
But I want us to get in touch with what's happening on the 13th and 14th of October for the walk. How can people get involved? How can they donate? Is there any kind of assistance that you need, making sure that our drug addicts out there are actually also noticed within the system?
On the 13th and 14th, on the 13th, we're walking all the way just after Woodmead. We're starting the walk there. Around 6 a.m. It's going to take us about 8 hours to get to Pretoria CBD. Around Pretoria CBD, when we get to the CBD, we're going to march from Koshimampuru prison to, I think we're going to get there around 12:01. We'll march into Koshimampuru prison to Tshwane House, where we're going to be delivering the memorandum. After delivering the memorandum, we're going to Marabastad. We're going to sleep there with the addicts. We are camping. That's going to be our camping site. On the day, anyone who knows anyone who wants to go to rehab will be distributing pamphlets and medical forms that their user needs to take to the clinic to get help. Then the following day, we leave Marabastad, then we walk to Soshanguve. The process is easy. Just a quick one. If anyone wants to go to rehab, they need to get a medical certificate. And then they need to go for counseling with our social workers. The whole process takes about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we book you at Witpoort or Rudeport rehab centers. Everything is for free. Our only challenge is taking the users from the townships.
Transport accommodation,
Transport and accommodation from the centers up until the rehab center. But everything else has just been sorted. If anyone wants to contribute or assist us where possible, they can call us on 084 984 9045. It's 084 984 9045. Our page, it's the Cleanup Squad. You can find us there. We're actively happy available to assist anyone.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today in studio.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Well, South Africa, Africa at large, and the continent, you've heard it for yourself that it is always about the people on the ground and making sure that the African continent is well taken care of. So from myself and the team right here on Morning Express, it's goodbye. God bless. Ciao. Have a great day.